All right, we're going to be taking a look at factors and multiples and prime factorization. And so these are three different things, but when it's all said and done, the prime factorization is going to kind of tie into what multiples and factors are, and we can use it in solving for different factors and multiples, which we're going to be taking a look at in just a little bit. The first thing, though, we want to do is take a look at what are multiples. And so what are multiples? And so multiples, okay, are all the numbers that we get when the number that we're using is multiplied by an integer. And often we're going to be using positive integers for that. So when you think about multiples, these are all going to be bigger numbers. Okay, so multiples are all bigger numbers, and we can put that into here. Well, maybe we can think of that bigger than original number. Okay, so let's take a look at an example here. So let's find the first 6 multiples of 22. Well, 22 is our first number that we're going to take a look at. And we need to find what are the multiples of 22. And that's a sneeze on camera here. So the first 6 multiples. Well, 22, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply it, and see if I can do a little multiply sign here. Multiply by 1, and so that is 22. The next one, we're going to multiply 22 by 2, and that'll be 44. We're going to multiply 22 by 3, so that'll be 66. We're going to multiply 22 by 4, which is 88. And now it was fairly straightforward. And now we're going to have to get it'll be a little more complicated here. Multiply it by 5, so that'll be 110. And then we multiply it by 6, so this will be 132. Okay, so that's how we find our multiples of a certain number. Now, there are an infinite number of multiples. We can keep going up and up and up and keep going on and on and on. And I'll put little dots there just to kind of describe that. But this is how we find multiples of a number. Now we could also go backwards. We could multiply by like negatives as well. So we get like negative 22, negative 44, negative 66, negative 88, and so on and so forth. It's just the negatives of these here. So let's do a couple little examples really quickly here. Let's find the first 5 multiples of 17. Well, if you want to make it maybe a little bit simpler, we can use our calculators for this. And so we're going to start with 17. That's going to be our first multiple there. And then all we're doing is we're adding 17 each time. So the next one would be 34. And, oh, my calculator doesn't work that way. So add 17 again, so we get 51. Add 17 again, we get 68. And add 17 one more time, and we get 85. So those would be the first 5 multiples. So we're always going up by 17. Now, one thing that we'll notice here is that all of these numbers are divisible by 17. Okay, so all those numbers are divisible by 17, which makes them a multiple of 17. Okay, if it's divisible by a number, it's a multiple of that number. Okay. Let's try another one here. 7. This one you might be able to do without a calculator. 17 is a bit of a challenging one, but 7 shouldn't be too bad. Okay, just looking for multiples of 7, so we go up by 7. 14, 21, 28, and 35. Right. Now, if all of a sudden I make a mistake here, I'm going to expect you to send me a message over the chat just to let me know that I've made a mistake on my video and I got to redo it, because that would be a lot of fun. And the last one, okay, 15 again. This one should be fairly straightforward there. 15 is our first multiple. We add 15 to get 30, and then 45, and then 60, and then 75. Now you also notice that the bigger the number, the faster it goes up. Now, as I mentioned there before, there are an infinite. Okay, remember, infinite means like forever. There's no end to it. It just keeps on going forever and ever. There's an infinite number of multiplies for each value, and I'm going to put value in there. I think the notes online are going to be a little different. They're going to say numbers, but I'm going to put value in there. Okay, so there's an infinite number of multiples for each value. So for 17, we could keep on going forever and ever and ever. Now, on an assignment or a test or anything like that, well, if we have a test in this, okay, there I will never ask you to find every multiple. I'm only going to ask you to find like the first 5 or 10 or something along those lines. It'll be a smaller amount.